And you're welcome. It's time for the dailies. Of course, I am joined by one of the delectable ladies here on Wake Up Nigeria. It's none other than Winfred. Hey, great to have you here. Let's do the papers together, shall we? Let's just take the headlines. There's a myriad of them, and we've got a couple papers that we're going to be going through. I will start with the Punch newspaper with big headlines. Here, let's get to this. First big headline that meets you with the Punch newspaper. Military police vow tough actions for ballot box snatchers and others. Security chiefs warn hoodlums. 67,000 policemen for Kogi, Bayelsa governorship elections. IG orders tight security at collation centers. FG vows transparency. Saraki demands fairness. This is for the off-season polls. At the top of the Punch newspaper, U.S. security advisory needless. Discourages investors, says the federal government. We'll circle back to that. 4.3 trillion naira lost to oil theft in 5 years. INEC delays trial of 197 electoral offenders. At the bottom, under the photo story, soldiers ensure force patrol Kogi Bayelsa flashpoints, absolutely necessary. And court rejects Kayode lawmakers' suit against Ayedatiwa. And this one here, a big concern, Lagos slashes BRT fares by 25% after passengers' outcry. Now, Winfrey, I know you don't use the BRTs, but how did you feel when you heard that they were reverting to the post-slash fares for BRT buses because they had been slashed by 50%. And only just yesterday, they were supposed to revert back to the old price. Of course, you can imagine, the roads were absolutely clear yesterday. I made it to the island in less than 20 minutes because there were no buses. That just goes to show you how people were like, I'm just going to stay at home. I can't afford this. But going down to 25%, I don't know how I feel about this, but it's a major issue because there's so much suffering out there to now take it back to whatever the price was. I'm going to be paying twice what I'm paying. What I was paying, that's a bit
So
much.
I think it's a situation where, okay, fine. Obviously, there are people thinking about these things, right? People that are trying to implement these changes, right? To help the masses, to help them fare easier, transport themselves easier and everything. But then again, I think in the end of things, you know how we speak about maintenance, right? How maintenance has been a major deal. So I'll actually say that, okay, as much as yes, the BRT buses are being put out there to help people commute easier and cheaper, at the same time, they also have to probably charge enough to be able to maintain the buses so that they don't, do you understand? So it's not enough to say, okay, fine, we're taking, in fact, it's free. Then in 2 weeks, you can't literally, do you understand? So, I mean, people should still see the intention right there of like doing something like that. Then, of course, about the roads being clear, I think is something that is the development since the price increase,
yesterday was
and all
extra
of
clear.
that.
There was nobody on the streets willing to go anywhere because they couldn't pay these fares, and the buses, they couldn't, What paper have you got?
Oh, yeah. So the paper I have here right now is The Guardian. And, of course, for the major headlines there, we have less than 30% of registered voters will decide Bayelsa Imo Kogi polls. We have that on page 6. And we have infographics here. We have voters turn out. We have Bayelsa State's down by 20 points from 36.4% to 16.4%, and a whole lot. We have for Imo, we have for Bayelsa, we have for Kogi. So check out the Guardian papers if you want that. Below there, we have FG to kickstart housing slum debt scheme with 100 billion naira. We have courts confirm authenticity of Enugu governor's NYSC certificates, drawbacks of dollarization of the Nigerian economy.
Interesting.
We have Nigeria, needs $7.6 billion to restore oil production to 2.1 barrel per day by 2025. Obi hints at recontesting in 2027, canvasses rotational 5-year single term for presidents. To the right there, we have terrorist attack, Maulud procession in Katsina, kill 30, injure, kidnap others. Okay, I mean, below there, we have U.S. government's travel advisory hurtful to Nigerian economy. Says.
I was going to touch on that earlier, if you remember.
Yeah.
When I heard that advisory, I thought to myself, this was exactly what I said to myself. Now, this is not going to be good for the Nigerian economy, especially that we had the president visit Saudi Arabia over the weekend for foreign investments, looking to sell Nigeria. And then that kind of information, based on what exactly? We had no further information about that. It was just something, it just seemed like just taints the image. If there are no further information regarding why that advisory was given, then it was more harm than good.
Damn good, yes.
If you get what I mean.
Correlation.
Gonna move now to the Nation newspaper, which will be our final paper for this morning. We've got this big headline here: Federal government Shantera alert fear. Yeah, straight up. Renewed hope agenda APC is on course in Imo State. That goes with the photo story. It's a big one on there. And at the top of the nation, presidency tackles Obi over attack on Supreme Court. And heavy rainfall coming in Lagos, Ogun, Rivers, and 12 other states. You'd think that we're done with the rainy season.
No, I think it just started.
I mean, yesterday, just from nowhere, there was rain.
The day before that as well.
This is November.
And I think it is November, yes, of course.
We normally should be having the Hamatan season.
Yes, dry. But we know in Lagos especially, we have Hamatan only on Christmas Day. That
Only
Christmas morning, not even the day, just
give you
Christmas
the feel.
morning, just so you know, okay,
Give you the
Christmas.
feel, okay, yeah, that will take it back.
And they will take it
says
back.
Mother Nature.
So, yeah.
Well, that's as much as we can take for the dailies this morning. Thank you very much for joining me, Pink Lady Winfrey, and thank you very much for also joining us for the papers. Do stay tuned.